So, if sciatica has you up at night, I bet you've heard of the 90-90 position. But let's be honest, trying to get it right can feel like this. Totally frustrating guessing game, right? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through all that confusion. We're giving you a practical, no-guess guide to finding some real relief, all based on expert advice. And let's just start right there with that feeling. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that late night frustration, just trying to find any comfortable position, just one moment of quiet from that noise in your leg. You stack one more pillow, nope, you take it away. You shift an inch to the left, then right back again. Sound familiar? Okay, we're gonna end that whole guessing game. We're gonna give you a clear, actionable method to figure out what actually works for your body. Okay, so here's our roadmap for this. We're going to start with that frustrating pillowpiece treaty. Then we'll dive into the why behind this whole position to calm the volume knob. After that, a super important safety check. Then we'll build a no-guess setup. And finally, I'll give you some fast fixes and a 2-minute action plan you can literally use tonight. All right, let's get into it. All right, first up, the pillowpiece treaty. And really, this is all about ending that frustrating guesswork we were just talking about. Before we can even build a solution, we've got to acknowledge the problem, right? That feeling of just randomly stacking pillows, crossing your fingers, hoping for a different result. Okay, so to stop the guessing, we absolutely have to understand the goal. And this next part, calming the volume knob, is all about the why. Because look, if you don't know what you're actually trying to do, you're never going to get it right. And spoiler alert, it is not about hitting some magic perfect 90-degree angle. See, the real idea here isn't to force your body into some specific shape. It's about sending a signal to your nervous system, a message that it's safe enough to relax. We're trying to create an environment of quiet, not a position of discipline. That's a huge difference. So here it is, the crucial point. I need you to forget about the perfect geometric angle. Just throw that idea out. The real magic, it happens when you achieve a neutral pelvis, so not arched, not tucked under. And that allows your hamstrings to finally stop guarding. When they relax, your pelvis stops getting pulled into that position that's just feeding the irritation. Okay, now for a really critical step, the safety check. Seriously, before you try anything, you have to know if this is the right move for you right now. Just think of it like a simple green light, red light test. Because let's face it, not every position is right for every single person at every stage of their recovery. This right here simplifies what can be a really complex decision into a super clear guide. So if lying down with your knees supported actually brings some relief, that's your green light. You are good to go. But if sitting or bringing your knees up makes things worse, that's a yellow light. You just need to be extra cautious. And if you have any of the red light symptoms, well, we need to talk about that immediately. Look, if you experience any of these red flags, I want to be crystal clear. This is not a pillow socking problem. These symptoms, things like new bladder or bowel issues or numbness in the saddle area, they require urgent medical evaluation. Positioning is for calming symptoms, not for overriding serious warning signs. Please take this seriously. All right, so you've passed the safety check, green light. Now, we move from theory into action. This is the no-guess setup, a simple 3-point measurement that's going to give you a repeatable toolkit to get it right every single time. So here are the 3 steps. It's really simple. First, we're going to build a calf shelf at just the right height. Second, we'll check that your thighs are pretty much level. And third, we'll confirm your low back is in a nice, neutral, relaxed position. Okay, so if you're on a bed, your starting point for the height of your support is going to be somewhere in the range of 8 to 14 inches. It's pretty logical. If you're taller, you'll start toward the higher end. If you're shorter, start a little lower. But please remember, this is just a launch pad, not some rigid rule. Now, if you're on the floor, which is a much firmer surface, it doesn't compress like a bed, you'll often need a little more height to get the same effect. So think somewhere around 10 to 16 inches. The real key here is that the floor just gives you a more consistent, predictable setup. Pay attention to this one, because this is the detail that most people miss, and it is an absolute game changer. If you only support your ankles, your hamstrings can actually stay tensed up. But when you support the mid-calf, it allows the entire leg to feel fully supported, letting those hamstrings finally relax. Seriously, the point of contact is often way more important than the exact height. Okay, so you've built your setup, but what if it doesn't feel quite right? The next step in any good experiment is troubleshooting, right?
So here are some fast fixes for common issues so you can solve them right there in real time.
Think of this little chart as your click reference guide. So if the tingling increases, don't just immediately change the height. First, try moving the support from your ankles up to your mid-calf. If your hips start to pinch, try widening your knees a little and then lowering the support by maybe an inch or two. And if your low back starts to ache, you can experiment with a tiny rolled up towel right under the curve of your back.
And here are the big mistakes to avoid. First, pushing your knees way up high above your hips. That can actually increase irritation. And like we just said, supporting only the ankles keeps those hamstrings tense. And maybe most importantly, remember, this is not a contest. Start with really short durations. Finding relief is a process, not a race. All right, we have covered a lot. We've got the why, the how, and the what if. So now let's put it all together into a super simple action plan. Something you can literally try tonight to start finding out what works for you. And it really is this simple. Okay, step 1, build your support shelf, making absolutely sure it's under your calves. Step 2, run the 3 checks. Are your thighs roughly level? Is your low back neutral? And are your symptoms better, or at the very least, not worse? Good. Step 3, set a timer for just 3 to 5 minutes. That's it. And 4, when that timer goes off, log the result. I'm talking 1 sentence. Better, worse, or the same. That's it. This is your simple, repeatable process for finding relief. So if you take one thing away from all this, let it be this. Be curious, be gentle, and really trust the feedback your body is giving you. This was never about forcing a position. It's about finding a position that allows your body to finally find some quiet. Remember, the goal is a calm experiment, not a heroic struggle with your pillows.